Jesse, if you would, go ahead, grab yourself a card, show the camera, I won't look. And make sure you remember it too. Toss it back in the middle somewhere. Perfect. Some people, they put it in the middle, they're happy. Some people, they want to give it a cut or two. Why not? I aim to please. For some people, that's not enough. They're like, no, I want to shuffle. One guy was actually a casino dealer here in Vegas. He took the cards, he's like a blackjack guy, and he made me turn my back. Turn around. I'm like, all right, I'll turn around, man. He takes half the deck and he flips it over this way and this way. So they're different ways. They're totally messed up. And I can't see any of this, keep in mind. Otherwise, I probably would have said, don't do it. And he shuffles the cards, just like they do in a casino, all into each other so that they are messed up, face down, in different clumps all the way through the deck. I don't see any of this going on. He squares everything up, my back is turned, and the cards are really messed up, face down, but I don't know any of this. I turn back around, and it's like a game of blackjack. We have to cut the deck, and when he goes to cut the deck, I'm like, what's going on here? They're face up. We cut again. I see they're face down. I see the cards are like back to back, face to face. I'm talking a mess, like different directions. A mess. I don't know what to do. I wasn't expecting this at all. So I have to quickly improvise. I look at the cards. I think to myself, right now, every single card in the deck just turned back over. Every single one but one. All except for your 8 of clubs. Is that it? That was it. And that's Triumph. Dai Vernon's classic, the original Triumph, the one that started it all off. Here we go. Let's discuss this in detail. Regular deck of cards, no tricks, nothing about it. You're going to have a card selected. You're going to have it returned to the middle and control it to the top. A very simple method would be having it returned. Let's say our card is the 8 of spades for explanation purposes. Keep a pinky break above the card. Very standard pinky break. And just do a double overcut. Cut twice to reach the break. And there's the card on top. All I'm doing is rather than cutting right at the break, I'm cutting about half the cards above the break, followed by another half, followed by the rest, and squaring it up. Now the patter and the presentation factors in greatly with the actions you're going to do. They cover them well, they justify them well. So throughout the effect, if you'd like to present it differently, you can, but remember the little pointers throughout the trick as to how it covers the moves. I'll explain that later during the cutting sequence. At this point, you're going to cut about half the deck over to the right, ensuring that the top half goes to the right. That's the selection, the 8 of spades. And you're going to flip over this bottom half. So you have face up, face down, and the selection is right over here. It's the top card of the right half. Make sure these are nice and squared up, and you're now able to shuffle these into each other. I recommend the first card leaving your hands being the one in the left hand. So you start with the left hand cards, try to do 1 or 2, and then as you go through, try to weave them nicely, and the last card is going to be the card from the right hand. So you don't want this to be more than one. This should only be one card, the selection, followed by 1 or 2 face-up cards. You do not want to have more than one face-down card here, or it will not work. What I mean by that is you don't want to have multiple cards from the right hand. Right now, I have 3 cards. This will not work. So keep in mind, make sure you retain one card with your right thumb when shuffling, and that's the last card to go, just like that. At this moment, you have 2 options. You can not square these up all the way, and you can spread again if you really want to sell this fact, drive it home that the cards are face up into face down, or you can skip this. It's entirely up to you. We're now getting into pretty much the heart of the trick. This is going to be the strip out aspect of the shuffle. You're going to want to square these up almost to the pip. That's a pretty good indicator. Right there to where the 3 of diamonds is, that's about how much you're going to square these up. Your right hand is now going to cover this juncture right here where the cards meet. You want to make sure to cover that. It's going to look as if you're pushing the cards into each other with your left hand and squaring them together. In reality, all that's going to happen is your right forefinger, which is curled on top of the deck, is going to make contact with this top card, which happens to be our selection, the 8 of spades. All the cards from the left hand are going to move to the left, or to the right, I'm sorry. These are all going to move this way, along with all these cards. Everything is simply going to move to the right, with the exception of the top card, the selection. This is going to give the illusion of the 2 halves squaring into each other. In reality, the only cards that really square into each other are the top selection with this half that's side jog to the left. So it looks just like this. Now this angle right over here is covered by my right hand. I'm covering here. Notice if I didn't have my right hand there, you would see exactly what's happening. You'd see that they're not getting squared. That's a big flash. So the key to this part is making sure your right hand blocks the view by being down right in front with all your fingers serving as a shield as you pretend to use your left hand to push to the right, and this forefinger holds the card in place, and that's what makes it look like everything got squared into each other. The real situation is this. All the cards are still here. All the face-up cards are on the left with the selection here. I'm taking a lot of time with the detail on this because this is the most important part. This is the crux of the effect. At this point, your right hand is going to grip the cards on the left. Your right thumb is going to move back to this corner, right back here, but don't move your right fingers in the front. You don't want to flash. Lifting it up so you can see my right thumb is going to move back to here. The fingers in front don't move. You're going to use this to strip the cards forward and to the right. So my thumb now holds these cards and strips them forward and to the right. I've now stripped out all the face down cards with the exception of the selection. This happens in one smooth motion. You move your hand back and you strip out. You're not really stripping, you're just cutting from the bottom about half the cards face up from the bottom and putting those on top, and then taking the rest of the cards and putting those on top. At speed, it should look as if you've shuffled face up into face down and then showed that you've got cards going every which way. Let's briefly go through the situation just to make sure you know exactly where the cards are positioned. After the shuffle, you've left the selection on top. During the square up, this card is moving to the left. That's the only one that moves. That's the selection. Your right hand is blocking the view. Now you're suiting words to actions. During the strip out, you say we've got cards going face up, face down, every which way. You're kind of saying it the same way. Face down, face up, face down. In reality, though, you have one face down card, the selection, followed by half the deck face up, followed by half the deck face down. Now, you're going to cut. And this is the part that justifies it. You say the guy now cut the deck, and that's when I noticed there were cards going face up. Cut anywhere in the top half at this point with your right hand. Put them back down. Cut anywhere into the bottom 3/4 at this point, showing face down cards. Now you're going to want to try to hit the natural bevel between the face up and the face down cards. The way to do it is simply relax your hand. See, I did on the first try. Relax your thumb and allow the cards to just gently lift by themselves. Whichever, naturally, you should cut right to the break. As soon as you do that, you say, I've got back to back. Lift up this half with your left hand. Flip it over. Put the right hand cards back down. And now grab these cards with your right hand and lay them down this way. So what you've just done is you've taken the bottom half, you've reversed it, and you've left it reversed and put it on top, and you've straightened the deck. So now they're all face-up cards, followed by the selection, followed by all face-up cards. One more time, just so you can see how that worked. Get back into the triumph situation. Face up, down, selection, half face up, half face down. During the cutting sequence, cut into the top quarter. Say we have face-up cards. We have face-down cards. At this point, you're going to try to hit right at the cut. Left hand turns these over, face up, face down. Put those on top. And you're ready for the revelation, showing all face up with one face down in the middle. That's the original Triumph by Dai Vernon.